If you're buying your first home, you're probably feeling some mix of excitement, confusion, and panic. Totally normal. I've worked with a lot of first-time home buyers here in Indianapolis, and truth is, most of them have the same fears. What if I screw this up? What if I buy the wrong house? What if I can't even afford anything decent? Look, I get it. Buying a house isn't something you do every day, and there's a lot of noise out there. So in this video, I'm walking you through 5 of the most common mistakes first-time homebuyers make, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Some of these might surprise you, and honestly, one of them could save you thousands of dollars. Let's make sure your first home isn't your first regret. I'm Brian. I'm a realtor in Indianapolis. I'm a former teacher, and first-time homebuyers, well, they're my jam. I love sitting down with first-time homebuyers to talk them through the whole process, and like a good teacher, make sure that they get all their questions answered so they are feeling comfortable with the decision that they, maybe you, are about to make. Let's get into these 5 mistakes that first-time homebuyers are making and how you can avoid them. The first mistake is really the first step, most likely. That would be getting pre-approved. Now, if you're in the camp where you're paying cash for a house, congratulations. You don't even have to worry about getting pre-approved. But if you're like most buyers, you're going to have to borrow money in order to be able to buy the house. So your first step is going to be talking to a lender. I actually recommend that you talk to 2 or 3 lenders because different lenders have different products. Some offer products for down payment assistance, some do not. Some work with VA buyers or FHA buyers, some do not. And most importantly, some lenders are better than others at explaining things. And I highly recommend that you get somebody who is good at explaining things to you like you're a 5th grader, because you're talking about the biggest financial decision that you will have made up to this point in your life. And you want to make sure that you are satisfied and understand all the things that go into making this purchase. So get pre-approved. Another reason you want to get pre-approved is because, of course, you've been looking at Zillow, realtor.com, homes.com, you've been watching shows on Netflix, whatever, and you're excited about finding your first home. So you've been checking all these things out online and you think, oh, I can afford that house, or oh my gosh, wouldn't this house be great? I'd love to go look at this. Well, let's say you go to look at a house without being pre-approved. You fall in love with the house. Then you go the step to getting pre-approved and you find out you can't afford that house. Let me tell you, having worked with buyers in this particular situation, that is deflating. Now they're kind of soured on the whole experience because the dream house that they've already found, they realize they can't afford it and may not be able to afford it for a while. Now, it makes the most sense to get pre-approved first so that you know what you can afford and so that you're not wasting your time and your realtor's time and homeowner's time when it comes to going to look at a house that you have no business looking at because you can't even buy it. The pre-approval is also going to give you an idea of what it is your monthly payments are going to be. You may have no idea what you can afford on a monthly payment basis. You usually, oftentimes, first-time home buyers will say, oh, well, I'm paying this much in rent. That must mean that's the kind of house I can afford. That's not necessarily the case, and a good lender is going to explain that to you. There's more that goes into buying a home than just the mortgage. Another reason to get that pre-approval, let's say you go look at a house, you don't have a pre-approval yet, you find a house that you like, then you have to go back and talk to a lender, and that lender may take 2 days, 3 days to get back to you with your final pre-approval number. And in that 2 or 3 days that you've been waiting, potentially another buyer comes in already pre-approved, they make an offer, and they're under contract before you've even had a chance to write up your first offer. So you want to have that pre-approval in hand so that you are ready when the time comes and you have found the house that you want. Mistake number 2, only focusing on the monthly payment. Now, monthly payment is super important. Don't get me wrong. It's near the top of the list of importance when it comes to affordability of a house. But there's a lot more that goes into owning a home than just your monthly payment. That monthly payment is going to include the mortgage, so paying off the principal and interest of the loan that you have for the house. It's also going to include the taxes. It's also going to include your homeowner's insurance. All of that money sits in what's called an escrow account, so that when those are due, there's money there that gets taken out automatically to pay your taxes and your homeowner's insurance. But beyond that, you also have home maintenance to take care of. You're not renting anymore. So if the toilet is leaking or the grass needs to be cut or something needs to be painted, that's your job. And you're either going to hire someone to pay them to come in and do those things, or you're going to do it yourself, which is likely going to involve having to go buy some products to fix something or to paint the walls. Yes, it's the time that you have to take to actually do the work, but still, all of it costs money. And you have to have money set aside, or it's suggested that you have money set aside, so that you can pay for those maintenance issues when they come up. How about an HOA? Are you buying or building a house in a location that has a homeowners association? How often is the homeowners association dues come around? Some are paid monthly, some are paid 4 times a year, some are paid 6 times a year, some are just paid once a year. Totally depends on where you live. But again, that's extra money. That in most cases doesn't come out of your mortgage. So you have to have that money set aside because it's a bill that you have to pay. And if you don't, well, they probably put a lien on your house. You have to pay some late fees, and you just get sort of a whole financial mess if you're not taking care of your HOA dues. Mistake number 3 first-time homebuyers make is skipping the home inspection. Now, being completely honest with you, I don't see this very often. Most people, whether they're first-time homebuyers or repeat homebuyers, they know the inspection is very important to their home buying process. But there are times where sometimes a buyer thinks, oh, I don't need to have a home inspection. Maybe they're a general contractor. Maybe they're parents, or they know some friends who are general contractors, and they're like, we'll be able to fix anything that comes along. Potentially, you're in a competitive offer situation. There are only so many ways to craft an offer on a house to get your offer accepted over somebody else's. One possibility is to say that you're not going to have a home inspection, you're just going to buy the house as is. There's a lot of red flags there. When you went on your home visit, you saw the house. You see the outside, you see the interior, what are the walls like, what condition is the floor, are there any ceiling leaks that you can tell, plumbing seems to be okay, all the lights work, whatever. But that's very superficial. There's a lot of mystery to a house. What's going on in the attic? What does the roof look like? Did you climb up there and check it out yourself? Is the foundation shifted, or is it okay? Is there any leaking in the basement? Is there any notice of water intrusion? Does the furnace work? Does the air conditioning work? That's just a short list of things you probably don't know just by visiting the house once or twice. So here in Indiana, a home inspection is going to cost you probably between $500 and $600 out of your pocket. And yes, you should have money set aside to do that. But skipping it could set up all sorts of issues, because when you sign the contract to buy the house, you're now the new homeowner. The person who sold it to you, it's not their responsibility to have fixed things beforehand if you didn't have an inspection and ask them to do that. It's not their responsibility to leave you a list of things that maybe need some maintenance done, or when was the last time this was done, or how old is this furnace or AC unit or dishwasher or whatever it is. It's your job because now you own the home. Having that inspection is key to make sure that you're not buying a money pit. Fourth mistake new home buyers make is assuming they can't afford new construction. I think a lot of first-time home buyers are assuming they're going to have to buy somebody's pre-owned house, maybe even an older house, because those are the ones that oftentimes cost less money. Right now, here in 2025, new construction builders in the Indianapolis area are offering all sorts of incentives for people to come in and buy their homes. Now, in some of these cases, the homes are either nearly complete or already complete. So you can move into a brand newly constructed home for probably less than you think. Now they're going to throw offers at you such as rate buy downs, which can get your interest rate down to something incredibly low, maybe in the upper 3% range, 4 or 5% range, which is going to be very appealing compared to what the regular interest rate is outside of new construction. They may throw offers at you such as a free basement or free appliance upgrades or an inclusion of other appliances. I've seen some offer like a washer and dryer package with it. They may throw in upgrades such as nicer countertops or an upgraded flooring throughout the house. Yeah, there are a lot of incentives. Now, I'm going to tell you, those incentives, they come with a cost. They throw free around like it's, Halloween. But realistically, somebody's paying for that. Okay, it's snuck in somewhere. But again, we're mostly concerned with what is the financial cost going to be to you in order to make a purchase of a house. Potentially, a new construction home with all of these upgrades and incentives is going to be a great deal for you financially over the short term when it comes to monthly payments or amount of money you need to put down for a down payment. There could potentially be some drawbacks to that as well, especially if we're talking about potentially like an adjustable interest rate. After a while, that adjusts to a higher interest rate. A rate buy down usually gets you a lower rate for 1 year, maybe 2 or 3 years, but then after time, that winds up going back to a regular interest rate, and now you're paying more money. So you do have to make sure that you understand what the offer is and not just get incentivized by the fancy bells and whistles that they're throwing at you. But I do want to say that just a lot of first-time homebuyers don't think that they can even afford new construction, and in the end, they can probably afford that better than they think they can. Before I get to number 5, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. If you found anything useful in here, leave me a comment. Let me know what you like about it. Or if you have anything else to add, throw me a comment on that as well. And if you're not the first-time homebuyer I'm looking for, share this with somebody who might be. Number 5 mistake that first-time homebuyers are making, either not working with a realtor or choosing the wrong realtor. Now, of course, I am a realtor, and so I'm trying to get your business. I'm not going to lie to you on that. But I may not be your realtor. I may not be the one for you. I highly recommend that people interview realtors. Some of you out there, you have a relative or you have a friend, maybe somebody you went to high school or college with that's now a realtor. Great. I never want to fault somebody for working with somebody that they know, but that's not always necessarily a great idea. What type of track record does that person have? How good are they going to be at teaching you about the process and walking you through step by step? How many homes have they sold? How many buyers have they worked with in the past? I highly recommend that you find somebody who works with the heart of a teacher, potentially someone who used to be a teacher. You don't necessarily have to have a realtor that has been a teacher in the past, but you need somebody who's going to take the time to explain every detail to you and someone who's going to be there every step of the way. When you need questions answered, they are there for you. Do you have to have a realtor to buy a house? No, you don't. But I'm going to tell you, if you don't choose to use a realtor, the person who is selling their house probably is working with a realtor. And if you don't have someone working on your behalf, I can tell you that the realtor on the other side is going to be all very nice and be very helpful, but there are things that they cannot tell you. And essentially, they're required to keep secrets from you. They can't share certain information with you, and now you have nobody who is there to help you with making a smart offer, with negotiating on your behalf, and making sure that someone is watching out for you and not just watching out for the seller. So do yourself a favor, get with a realtor, preferably me, and if not me, find somebody that you trust that you know is going to help you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, maybe give me a thumbs up, and feel free to share this with somebody else. Thanks for watching.